Hey fight fans, this is D-Rock and you're watching D-Rock Boxing. Alright, today I'm going to talk about, I'm doing a fight prediction between Dillian Whyte versus Robert Helenius. So this fight's going to be on the undercard of Joshua versus Takam, which is coming up here in New Zealand. It will be Sunday morning. So I've already booked that fight on pay-per-view here on Sky box office. So I'm looking forward to that fight. And so let's get into talking about these two fighters. So first guy I'll talk about is Robert Helenius. So Robert Helenius, he's what's his record? 25-1 with 16 KOs, which is decent record. 16 KOs, you know, the dude's got power. He's 6'6.5". He's 2 meters tall, so he's a big guy. He's a tall guy. He's from I think he's from Sweden, and he's known as the Nordic Nightmare. So he's a bit of a Viking, this guy, you know. He has, the loss that he has was to Johan Dorpa. So you guys might know that name as being one of the bums that Deontay Wilder likes to fight against. And so he actually lost to the Deontay bum. So, you know, doesn't really look too good when there's a name that everybody associates as being a bum and that's the guy that you lost to. You know, doesn't really look too good for you. But he has fought and beaten some guys that I do know of and I have heard of. So he's beaten Derek Chisora. That's probably the number one name on his list. He beat Derek Chisora. It's been noted that that's a bit of a robbery, and Derek Chisora probably did win that fight. But, you know, BoxRec got it the other way around and says that Robert Helenius won that. So it is what it is. Another name that he's got on there is Michael Sprott. And Michael Sprott's not... He's a bit of a journeyman, you know. I've seen him over here. He fought in the Super 8 tournament. Made it to the final against Carly Meehan, and Carly Meehan dispatched him pretty easily. He punched him in the head and made him lose his balance, and then just knocked him down after that. His equilibrium was gone. He's beaten Gregory Toney, and he's also beaten Sherman the Tank Williams. And so Sherman the Tank Williams, he's Mr. Concrete Head. If you guys don't know him, the guy's super hard to knock out. He's only little and short, but he's Concrete Head. That's why they call him the Tank. And so Joseph Parker's fought Sherman the Tank, and he couldn't knock him out either. So he's one of the guys that Joseph Parker had to go the distance with. So basically, the Nordic Nightmare, Robert Helenius, he does have power. That's one of his main things that he has. He's got power. Early on in his career, they were, you know, he was touted to be one of the guys, you know, the next Klitschko and this type of thing, but he's never really kind of, it's never really come to fruition, I would say. In the Johan Dorpa fight, he gassed out. And he gassed out, and then he got dealt to once he gassed out. So, as far as I know, he took this fight on pretty short notice. And I would think that maybe he's going to gas out in this fight because of the short notice and his history of it. I don't know if he's going to come in peak condition. So, maybe won't do. Oh, and also he's not really an athlete. So what I mean by that is he's a bit of kind of fumbles around. He's a bit of a Gumby type. Not the most coordinated guy for, you know, 6'6.5", 2 meters tall. He's not exactly a natural born athlete. So the keys to victory I've got for this guy is he should stay at distance, because of he's so tall, he needs to use his height, use his reach advantage, and stay at distance. Keep Dillian away from him. Use his jab to keep Dillian at distance. Use the ring, move around, and try to keep Dillian away from you. Also, if Dillian does get in close to him, he needs to grab him and hold him and stop Dillian from doing inside fighting, because the body snatcher, that's his, that's Dillian's name. He will attack you to the body and he will get you in close. So yeah, that's the keys to victory for Robert Helenius. So now I'm going to talk about Dillian Whyte. Dillian Whyte, and I like Dillian Whyte. I do rate Dillian Whyte. I think he's a good fighter, and I would like to see Joseph Parker fight him. So Dillian Whyte, his record is 21-1. His one loss was to Anthony Joshua. Anthony Joshua knocked him out in, I think, the 6th or 7th round. I think it was the 6th round. But Dillian did kind of rock him a bit. And in the amateurs, Dillian Whyte has beaten Anthony Joshua. So they're kind of one each, if you want to look at it that way. Dillian Whyte's got 16 KOs as well. He does have power. He has... when I look at his record, he's from East London. King of East London, he calls himself. His best name on his record is also Derek Chisora. So these guys have a mutual opponent in Derek Chisora that they've both beaten. But the other names that he's beaten that I do notice on there, these three are actually ex Joseph Parker opponents, and Dillian has managed to beat them quicker than Parker beat them. So I will say that about Dillian Whyte. And that was Brian Minto, Irene Beto Costa Jr., which was a pretty brutal knockout, the one that he did on Costa Jr., and Marcelo Nascimento. So yeah, as I say, he beat them quicker than Joseph Parker dispatched them. So, that shows Dillian Whyte does have good, decent amount of power. So Dillian Whyte, he as I said, he's got power, and he does stay in shape. He's always posting things of him working out, him staying in shape in the gym. You can see it on his body and that he's a solid guy. He's a bit chunky in that, but he's in shape. He comes in good condition, and they call him the body snatcher. He likes to throw shots to the body. And for my keys to victory for Dillian Whyte, he needs to get in close to Helenius, dodge his jab, dodge his shots, and get in close to him, rip him to the body, and in the early rounds, try to slow him down if it gets later on. I would say overhand shots. Once he's in close, throw some overhand shots, and if he gets in with some inside fighting, I would be looking to hit him with an uppercut. Because a taller fighter, you're able to extend your uppercut a bit further than the shorter fighter where his chin's low, so you're not going to get that full extension as you would with a big guy where you can really put a lot of power into your uppercut shot, tiger uppercut. So in my opinion, in this fight, I see Dillian Whyte winning this fight. I think that Robert Helenius is going to come in. His conditioning is going to be poor. Dillian's just going to basically brawl the guy. He's going to absorb his shots, stay away from his power hand, get in close, rip to the body, and deal to him. And that's what I'm hoping to see, to be honest. I want to see Dillian win this fight. I want to see him move on. This is for the WBC silver title. They're hoping that if he wins this fight, he will become the mandatory, because Deontay Wilder's fighting Bermane Stiverne, as we all know, and if he gets Bermane, which I'm guessing he will get Bermane out of the way, then they're hoping that Dillian Whyte will be the mandatory. But there's also another fight, which is Eric Molina versus Dominic Breazeale, and that's touted as an eliminator as well. So he may have to. I'm thinking Dominic Breazeale's going to win that, and so it's going to be looking like there may be an eliminator for the mandatory position after between Dillian and Breazeale for Deontay's belt if all these three people happen to win their next upcoming fights. But I mean, that's my opinion. That's what I think. Let me know what you guys think. Like, subscribe, drop us a comment, and I'll see you guys in another video. Cheers.